Once upon a time, there lived a king who was very bold and kind to his people. He ruled his kingdom with love and affection for his people. The king won many wars with his valor, but in one battle, the king lost his one eye and one leg. One day, when the king was passing through the big hall of the palace, he saw the portraits of his grandfather and his father and all his ancestors. He was very happy seeing his ancestors. Then suddenly an idea struck into his mind that in the future his children also would love to see their father's portrait in the palace hallway. But the king thought that all my ancestor portraits are very beautiful and their faces are glowing with their valor and bravery. But how my portrait will be? I have lost my one eye and one leg in the battle. I am physically disabled. How my portrait will appear with such disabilities? But he wanted a portrait of himself. Then he called his ministers and said to them that he wanted a beautiful portrait of himself without reflecting his disabilities. Then the ministers announced in kingdom that whomsoever will make a beautiful portrait of the king would be given so many rewards. The king also invited many painters and asked them to make a beautiful and wonderful portrait of himself so that he can place it in the hall of the palace. Some of the painters thought the king wants a beautiful portrait of himself, but he is physically disabled. How can we make a beautiful portrait of the king who has lost his one eye and one leg? Can the picture turns out to be good? Otherwise, if the painting doesn't look beautiful, the king may become very angry and may even give death sentence to us. All the painters were so nervous, nobody came forward to paint the portrait. The king and the ministers were eagerly looking for the painter. Then suddenly a young man came forward and said to the king that he will draw and give a beautiful portrait of the king to be placed in the palace. But the young man asked the king to give a week's time to make the portrait. The king happily agreed and gave him a week's time. A week's time ended and the painter brought the portrait of the king. Everybody were anxious to see the portrait. The court was crowded with the people. All the people were thinking that how can the portrait turn out to be beautiful as the king lost his one eye and one leg. Then when the young painter presented the portrait of the king along with his ministers and all the crowd who gathered there became stunned and became very happy to see the portrait. The painter made a portrait where the king was sitting on a horse on one leg side and holding his bow and aiming the arrow with his one eye closed. The king was overwhelmed with joy when he saw his portrait. The painter cleverly hidden his disabilities of the king and made the portrait so wonderful to look at. The king, as announced, honored the painter with so many rewards. Friends, if we look in our life, we may sometimes see only the disabilities of some persons and point them out. But we must know that everybody will be having some good qualities and some bad qualities. Someone may be physically disabled, but they may be having a very big talent that may be given by God. So we must not point out the disabilities of a person because of the only reason that he is physically challenged. On the other hand, we must encourage their talent which may be hidden in their mind. And also, some persons may be mentally handicapped. If we can help them by any means, this is the best service of God. If we look at bad qualities of others, then we must know that we are surrounded by negative energies. We must therefore look at only the good qualities of others so that the whole environment becomes positive. We should ignore the bad qualities of others and appreciate only the good qualities in them. There is a saying that beauty is only skin deep. Some may be beautiful externally, but their mind may be filled with dirt like jealousy, greed, or materialistic desires. We must not see only external beauty, but we must understand and know that those people who may not be beautiful externally, but their mind may be crystal clear with all good qualities like mercy, gratitude, forgiveness, etc. So, such people, positive energies will be more. We have to see their inner beauty in such situation. So, we must always learn to appreciate only the inner beauty of a person rather than their external appearance. Thank you for watching, friends. If you liked my video, please subscribe my channel and click on bell icon below. Please like and share the video. Please support my channel to grow.